Hey everybody, this is Jerichos, and welcome back to Puppeteer. Last time we began our journey, Kutaro got abducted, stuck in a puppet, and now he's, well, trying to escape. We just got the legendary enchanted scissors, Calibrus, and we need to cut our way out. We can actually use the square button to cut through this weird barrier?
That's the ticket.
Not sure what you'd even call that. But we get the trophy Calibrus Unleashed for using it for the first time. And not only can we cut stuff on the ground, we can jump through the air and keep going while you cut.
Nicely done, Kutaro.
Yep, as long as you have something to cut through, you can keep flying through the air indefinitely. But as soon as you stop cutting, you'll fall down. You'll notice as well that these reform if you don't cut them all the way through quick enough.
Out of here in no time.
Got some straight above you? No problem. Go straight up to cut through.
Yes, you know what to do.
This is one of the main mechanics of the game, so better practice it and get pretty good at it. But here, before we cut through, we see the flashing banana symbol. Let's use the banana head. It gives us a roulette. Could get a bunch of heads, we could get a bunch of moon sparkles, or it might damage us. What do we get? Moon sparkles! Also, it did something fun. It changed all of that netting into, well, bananas. Quite silly. But then again, that's par for the course for this game. So, cut through and move on.
See? Take good care of Calibrus, and Calibrus will take care of you.
Now we gotta get past this lock by cutting around it, but before we do, click it
Don't
for
stop
the
now,
lock
or
head.
that graze will catch us.
Now we'll unlock the pathway.
Oh, lovely. Very nice.
Ah! Who dares lay a hand on my property? My traps! How did you get out? Wait, how did you get in? You wretch! What have you done to my throne room? Guards, apprehend that thief!
Deftly and darkly, the grubs descended upon our trembling hero. But locked within each of them was the soul of a child, just as scared as him.
So these are your basic enemies. You can cut them to knock them down and reveal their soul.
That's it.
Trim it,
Very hero.
and you set the soul free.
Pop your head! Clean off your shoulders!
You get the trophy Soul Searcher.
You'll be grabbified, just like the rest of these poor children.
Now if you let it sit, it will actually get sucked back in and they'll attack you again. Do it enough times and it'll actually float away. So you want to make sure to take care of it every time.
I want that sticky-fingered scoundrel's head!
And you'll actually see you can juggle them so they never hit the ground, and that releases the soul without worrying about that little balloon.
Guards? Huh? Guards! I'll do it myself.
And you need to free every soul in the level.
It was a weaver. Of all the Moonbear King's nightmarish magical creations, weavers were some of the nastiest.
Yep, it's boss time. Avoid his flaming, I don't know if that's an axe or an arm or what exactly it is, but cut away his robe, or cape, or whatever. Cut the cloth.
This was Kutaro's first ever real dose of fear. But to escape the weaver, those fears would need to be conquered.
Simple enough, just keep cutting him and eventually you'll knock him to the ground. Just avoid the fire.
Grew even clashier. The boy snipped, sliced, and sundered with the cold realization his life counted on it.
And we're doing okay, just really don't like getting hit there. Now that he's been knocked to the ground, all the souls inside him have been put free. You need to cut through every single one of them. Do not let any of them get missed and go back inside.
The fell weaver was no more. With the legendary Calibrus firmly in hand, Kuturo had taken the first step of his grand adventure.
And as you can see, we got the crown head for defeating him.
Unfortunately, the next steps had to be taken at a run, as the Savage King was hot on our hero's heels.
Tiger!
Yes, sire.
Where did that whelp go?
Well, he can't have gotten far, sire. He has such tiny legs. I imagine he's right around the corner.
I don't want him around the corner. I want him cornered! Find that thief, or I'll find someone who can!
Please, sire, your blood pressure. I'll take care of it. Would you like a back rub? A glass of warm milk? Anything? No?
Bravo, Kuturo. None of the others ever made it half as far. This will be music to the witch's ears. Oh, man up, would you please? Would you prefer the grubs find you and the Moon Bear King yanks your limbs off?
And with that, we have completed Act 1, Curtain 1. Kind of a fun start to our adventure. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that we've unlocked because we've beaten it.
With a flash of Calibrus, Kuturo felled the frightful monster and freed the soul of every last child in the fiend's clutches. Well done, Kuturo! The souls he freed were homeward bound.
And when you finish the level, it will tell you if you found every soul from the grubs and the weavers, or if you missed some. So you want to make sure to get every single one. In fact, when you're back on this screen, you can check and see how many souls you rescued, how many heads there are, and whether you found the bonus stage. We missed one head, but it's not one we could do yet. And bonus stages. As I said in the level, you only get one chance when going through the level, but you can replay them in the main menu. And if you didn't clear it before, you can go through and do it then. And the head collection has been unlocked. You can read about your head's past escapades and check out their head actions. Why don't we take a look at both of those things? So, if you look at the bonus stages, you'll see every level has one, and you get a little blue ribbon with a star if you manage to beat it. Make sure to clear every single one. Now the head collection shows we have 7 new heads in our collection. You can actually view every one you found and whether you found its specific action or not. In fact, you'll see next to some of them, like Spider and Burger, there's a little moon icon, which means head secret found, or we used it at the appropriate place for the action. Let's click on them and see a few more details. The Spider. One of countless spider babies miraculously cranked out in the Tower of Tribulation by their Darwinian champion of a mother. She keeps one of her myriad eyes on each of them. Mother knows best, after all. Sure, she occasionally mistakes one for dinner and devours it, but Mother knows best. Now, I'm not going to read through all of them, but as we unlock them, I'll go through and show off the head action, so you can see it up close. Looks kind of cool. And you can always pause to read through them. So, we got the skull. I love the little dance. The burger. I love how it just becomes just a massive multi-stack burger. Now, here's the head we missed. It actually gives you a hint on where to find it. In Act 1, Curtain 1, the symbol on the pot yields to power that lies beyond the falls. Or behind the falls, excuse me. So, yeah, something we have to get later in the game. We have to come back to get this head. The bat. The head attacks him. The first time I saw that, I thought for sure he was going to take a bite out of the banana, which would have been a little disturbing. And the lock is just weird, And our final head, we got the crown. Oh, the cape tried to fly away. So we got 6 more heads to find in this act, and 1 more back in the first chapter, but we'll get that later. For now, let's go on to Curtain 2.
Kuturo had obtained Calibrus, a legendary pair of magic scissors. But before he could start cutting along the dotted line of destiny, he would have to escape the wrath of the tyrannical Moon Bear King.
So we got 2 heads to find in this stage and a bunch of souls. So let's see if we can find everything. Or at least most of it.
Lucky Kuturo, suckered into stealing a set of sorcerer's scissors by the witch and stirring up a tyrant's rage. Now all his hopes of escaping the castle were dashed, just as he himself dashed like mad to outrun the soldier grubs who wanted his head. Poor Kuturo. His only hopes now were Calibrus and a witch of most questionable character. What cruel tricks would fate play on him next?
You pussy-footing wussy-cat! Where were you? I ought to... Fudge! Brownies, it can't be!
Did you forget you sent us off in the first place? Yes, Calibrus chose him.
Finally! Those legendary shears will cut right through the Moon Bear King's lackeys and set the Moon Realm free! Now, my brave young warrior, why don't you let Granny hold onto those for you? Right now, you wooden dolt! What was that for? Don't you tell me I'm not your type! Gotcha!
To command Calibrus, you need either a heart as pure as the goddesses, or pernicious magic like the Grizz. But all you've got is an attitude.
Oh, nuts! And honey, you keep Calibrus. I know you'll take good care of it for me.
I smell him. That's the pungent stink of a scissor thief.
Oh, General Tiger, sir. How kind of you to drop by to check on measly old me. Gosh, I just don't know anything about the scissor thief, but if I see him, you'll be the first and last to know.
Then this egregiously foul odor must be witch stink. You are certain he's not here?
Oh, yes, very certain, your Tigeress. I beg you, bring that scoundrel to justice, or I may not sleep a wink tonight.
Ah, don't worry. My grubs will have this whole castle locked down in no time.
I love that we see the passage of time. Yeah, they'll have it locked down in no time, sure. Nope, it's night. Everybody's fallen asleep. In fact, so much time passes that it's already the next day, and they're still looking.
After all, we can't have anyone crashing the prison towers and making off with the knight's powers, now can we?
Did you hear that, dear? Then get your Heidi in gear!
The tiger's tongue had slipped. Whatever powers this knight had, they were clearly important.
Indeed, they are important, and we're going to go searching for them. But first, I'm going to introduce a new mechanic. In most stages, there is a stage-specific trophy. You have to do something unique for that stage, or something special that can only be done there, and you'll get the trophy then. This one, click on this wall 3 times to break it apart, and set free some puppets. There's about 24 events you have to do like that in this stage, and you must do it all in one go-through. You cannot miss it. and come back and do one of them later. You have to do it all at once. But I'll show you where all of them are. For now, cut along the leaves to get our way up to the next section.
The castle walls didn't come with stairs. Clinging to the slippery stones instead were giant living vines imbued with dark magic.
And we've got another wall here that we want to break apart. And some of these will actually count for that other trophy we started last time, where we're freeing the 3 puppets. Not all of them, but some of them will. So make sure you get all of them together for credit for both.
Snipping, cutting, slicing through the vines with Calibrus, Kuturo scrambled up and up. Onward he must
You say up and up, but we're going down. Yep, gotta go down to go back up. Now we've got a skull action here, but before we do that, click to the left 3 times, and one more scene. This time they're being chased by a grub. Make sure when they loop around, investigate the grub to kill him. You have to do it at that point or you don't get credit. And they're happy. Now while we're here, this time use the skull action for a very, very creepy roulette. Yeah, let's just rip your rib cage open. That seems like fun. Now, I didn't mention last time, but the roulettes are random. Every time you go through, it could be something different. What are we getting this time? Oh, just barely moon sparkles. Oop, I wanted to stay up there. Well, yeah, it gives you a lot of them. Collect them all as much as you can. Now, wait for it to stop shaking, and back up we go.
As you may have noticed, there was a reason the Moon Witch framed Kuturo for stealing the scissors. The moment she marched him off to the throne room, she had already concocted a plan to take Calibrus for herself.
As you can see, I'm juggling the enemies. You want to try to juggle them as much as possible at this stage to kill them. It's actually a trophy for doing it enough times. Also, avoid the gateway. You don't want to go through yet because one more scene to interact with over here. They found a chest. Ooh, with 100 sparkle. I'll take that. Now you can go through the gateway.
Despite himself, Kuturo was growing excited. What kind of awesome power could this knight in the towers have anyway?
Now we've got some more big vines. This time these giant clusters are in front of us. You can mash the square button to cut through them, but before you do, there are 3 of them. Inspect all of them before you cut through each one, because you want to get all 3 to unlock something in a second. Get the second one, cut through. Now if you take too long with these free-floating leaves, they will fall and you'll have to cut through the vine again. But as long as you don't hit anything on the way down, you should be fine. Now the third one, once you inspect it, a flower bulb will appear on the side. Check it to get the vile vine head. Yes, very helpful. We want to hang on to that for a little bit. And for now, on through the third one.
Even the vile vines could still Kuturo's scissors.
Now here is a somewhat tough 100 sparkle to get. There we go. You want to try to... Ooh. You want to try to go up and to the right as you're cutting through to grab it. It can be a little tricky. If you don't want to get it now, there's an ability we'll get later in the game that will make it easier. But I like the challenge of getting it now. Now we head back up and collect some more moon sparkles, avoid the spinning blades of death, and move on to the next area.
We'll have to muse these for stairs. Just cut along the seam.
Okay, so whenever you get seams like these, Kuturo will cut automatically. However, if you press the square button, mash it, he'll speed up. Sometimes you need a faster speed to get through.
Impressive.
Take care of these 2 grubs and free this puppet before you come along the next seam. And this time we've got some of those clusters we got to cut through, and vines attacking us, so make your way quickly through.
Thanks to Calibrus, not even the steepest tower walls could stop Kuturo.
2 more grubs, and another puppet to free. Now here we're going to get a new mechanic where you'll have to choose a pathway. If you follow the seam that is white, that's the correct pathway. And usually it's safer, there's better rewards, but this time we actually want to use the control stick to choose the wrong pathway because it spawns a grub. Make sure to kill him. Oh, and latch back on. Do that a second time for here. Each one will spawn a grub. Make sure to kill him. You can drop down to the level below and fight him there if you really want.
Sliced his way through flags, vines, anything. He could sink those scissors.
But I find it easier just killing him in midair. Now free this guy. And we can actually use, well, you don't actually have to free him. You can bounce on him if you want. But this is a bouncy pad. So, up we go. We can inspect that for a few moon sparkles, but free the medallion. Okay. See, here's a tricky thing. If you don't get it all in one good motion, you're best off just waiting for the whole webbing to respawn. Otherwise, you'll just go in circles perpetually. There we go. Free the bats. Now here, we want to go all the way up. Free the bats, and head to the right. Now you've got the Vilevine action head here. Before you use it, this is very important, click this window to free a puppet. If you use the action first, you'll miss out on that window and have to do this whole level over again. But for now, let's use the action and see what happens. And it ate us. Yep, this is the second bonus stage. This one can be kind of fun. So, let's run through.
Before the Moon Bear King used his dark powers, the vines were just your ordinary, commonplace garden variety invasive weeds. Vines cling to anything they can get their festering feelers on, until they cover everything. Sneaky, you say? But aren't we all clinging to something bigger than ourselves? Strangling the life out of it?
Pretty easy stage. Once again, choosing the right path there will get you to the end. You don't want to choose the wrong path on that one. And it spits us right into the next area. That's why you want to get that window first.
Not everyone took it sitting down when the Moon Bear King rose to power. Many tried to oust the tyrant and bring back the goddess. One or two of them even survived. But the goddess's mightiest champions all fell, and their powers were locked away in secret, well-guarded places.
Now, where do you suppose the knight's powers are hiding?
I love that the Weaver's attacking us, trying to stop us, and we're just cutting along, not letting anything get in our way. Free that puppet before you go through the gateway, and then move on.
Tower top security was tight. The Weaver patrolled the smoke-ridden sky, swooping and slicing at anything that moved. These towers not only defended the castle walls when the Moon Bear King rebelled against the goddess, but during the ferocious final fight, they also went on the attack.
And you'll see we freed a puppet from the window there. Now just cut along the seams, keep running, and eventually we'll land somewhere. I forget where we actually end up. There we go. Yes, we land on a bounce pad. And see, yep, you can just bounce right on him. But let's free him. And free these two by killing off the grub. Do that all together, and then bounce all the way up. Don't like that Weaver following us.
The tyrant later converted the towering spires to a prison, which with a bounding imagination he dubbed the Prison Towers. The crushed forces of the Moon Goddess were detained at His Majesty's pleasure to starve, rot, and generally suffer. Only their armor remained to tell their terrible tale.
So now, as you see here, we have a bat action. If we'd held on to the bat head at this point, we could use it, but you don't actually want to use it the first time through. If you're going for investigating all of those puppet actions, you'll miss some. So, instead, let's investigate here, free this guy, and, you know what? We'll actually call this episode here. Figure hanging out on this platform's a nice, good cliffhanger way to leave it. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to click like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter. And I'll see you guys next time.